broadcasting to you on WNN 1470 AM and TrentoVision.tv from the world's leading think tank laboratory, buried deep in an undisclosed building in hostile territory where evil and corruption is exposed. You're about to enter the Tom Trento Show.
General orders, all hands man your battle station.
Tom Trento heads United West, a group that says it defends Western civilization against the onslaught of Islam.
Somebody tell me what the aristocrat, Mr. John Kerry, somebody tell me what the hell he is doing, running around the world, in Israel, trying to get all the Jewish people to follow the
He's trying to ethnically cleanse the West Bank.
Yeah, to go off the cliff like that. But now he's moved a little bit to the northeast, and he's talking about Syria. And he has, yesterday actually, he had a press conference where he spoke about the dire situation in Syria, all a prelude to justifying some sort of military intervention by the United States, which we still don't understand. But he said that he spent a couple of hours.
A whole couple of hours?
A couple of hours looking on social media, on YouTube, and looking at the YouTube. This is the Secretary of State. But he looked at YouTube videos and saw that something has to be done because of how horrible the death situation is with the gassing at this point.
With all the intelligence that he has at his disposal, he has to go on YouTube to get an update on Syria. Give me a break.
And what about the irony of the Democrat, particularly the leadership, which views the blue-collar Democrats as dopey people, flyovers? And you saw this at every election. In 2008, 2012, the big general elections. Big campaign to go into the black churches, the Hispanic churches, the gay churches, the blue-collar churches, the unions. The Democrat elite, like Kerry, despise these people. They have nothing to do with them. Kerry's worth, I think, in and of himself, like about $250 million. His wife is worth about $500 million.
Yeah.
They are royalty. If you said, go to Publix and buy some meat to cook for dinner, they would think you're speaking a foreign language. We don't know what Publix is. Buying meat, they don't know what those two words mean. They have servants to do all of this.
They have a staff.
They have a staff. And yet, the Democrat dumb voters, low intelligence, is that what it is? Low information voters. They just keep voting these people in. I don't know why. The guy is clueless on foreign affairs. He's flopping around the world stage, making an ass out of himself. But hey, everything's fine because
it's all part of a plan to make Hillary look good in retrospect.
It's working. That plan is working.
Yeah.
You had some thoughts on...
Our golfer-in-chief has also been keeping track of what's happening in Syria, and the White House quotes him as saying he finds it deeply troubling and not optimal.
Syria?
It's
deeply
troubling and not optimal.
Well, you know what?
I think that's their default quote.
What's the translation?
For everything that's happening in the world.
He
troubling and not optimal.
He probably could have had a little better idea of the seriousness of Syria if he wasn't spending 2 months shuffling back and forth between pressuring the Israelis and coddling the Palestinians.
Yeah.
For 6 weeks.
Yeah.
This is so upside down, folks.
Well, this is Obama, who's more concerned about what's on Morsi's food tray in a prison somewhere in Cairo than he is about thousands of people getting gassed in Syria.
How is Obama going to extricate there? For those of you watching TrentoVision at 6 minutes after 5 o'clock on 27 Tuesday, August. Look at that. That's cool. We got a graphic of the golfer in chief, like the commander in chief, golfer in chief.
GIC.
The GIC. And how many rounds, Mark, are we at?
We're at 133. 133. Almost, what is it, about 4 or 5 months?
That's since when?
Solid days on the
Since,
golf
I think, last Wednesday, I think.
Yeah, no, since the beginning of his term, the first term, he's taken, what is
133
that's
rounds
30,
of golf.
34, so almost 5 months, little over 4 months of solid golf.
I didn't
every
even know
day.
he played
Every
golf.
day.
Well, no wonder
Every
he
day.
doesn't have time to attend his intelligence briefings in the morning.
How
He's
does
on the
a-
golf course.
How does a community organizer who studied Franz Fanon, who studied Alinsky, who studied all
Lenin,
the great
who studied
Lenin,
Marx and Engels,
about the working class struggling to free itself from the bondage and find salvation in the collective. How does golf?
the collective.
How does golf fit into that? I mean, where does Lenin talk about now when you're fighting the bourgeoisie? Take time out and refresh yourself with 18 holes on the. Go to Pebble Beach if you can. Where does golf fit into a world-class community organizer for the downtrodden?
Well, because he's a monarchical communist.
Monarchical communist.
Yeah.
What
yeah.
the hell did she just say? What did the first? Did she?
Explain to that guy what you mean.
He's the communist in chief, but he's the emperor of this American empire. And so he has to behave like an emperor of the empire.
And
with
you know
all
what's
the
sad?
trappings of luxury and everything else, unlike the Soviets in their time, those leaders, they pretended in public to be the same as
Oh, right.
everybody else, but privately, you know, they had their private cars, which were Western made, not Russian made, and they had their Black Sea resort estates that they went off to. But in public, the official photography of them was all about them being the same as everybody else, dressed.
We have a picture up for
Vacation
you.
Force
on
One, there you go.
Vacation Force One.
I mean, this emperor of the American empire, Barack Hussein Obama, he's got separate helicopters and airplanes to fly his dog on vacation. He plays golf all the time. He's always on a trip somewhere. He's playing cards.
Now the
When
Republicans,
bin Laden is being tracked down.
the Republicans get criticized for living the kind of life that he's living, but the
The
Republican
Republicans
says,
who are living that life worked for it.
The Republicans
okay,
say if
they
you
didn't
work hard,
inherit it,
right, you
and they
earn it.
didn't steal it from the tax-paying masses.
and it's part of Republican doctrine to say, if you make a lot of money working hard, providing something
Mazel
for
tov,
people,
enjoy it.
yeah, you could live to an excess if you want to. You ought to contain your life and be concerned about others, but you don't have to. It's your life.
That's
what
right.
capitalism is. If you
That's
want
right.
to blow your money on the roulette wheel in Vegas, you can do that.
That's right.
They didn't build that by themselves.
They didn't build that.
See, this is the dumbness of
This
Obama
is the
voters.
hypocrisy. This
And-
is the hypocrisy.
and
They
I'm-
didn't build that golf course.
Look at this. You got to watch this stuff, folks. We have a looped Obama
No,
and
it
his.
wasn't loop. No, it's these practice swings.
Oh, those are all practice swings. Oh,
Yeah.
look, loop. Here's the issue that drives us crazy, and we're speaking to the dumb voters. Now, we say dumb. You may have a bunch of degrees, but when you can't analyze who this individual is and what his belief systems, where they will take this country. Now, if you're in accord with him, then you really got a problem. But many
Then
of you
we've
voted
really
for
got a
him.
problem.
Many of you voted for him. Yeah, let me give the guy a chance. He's half white, half black. He'll help race relations.
He's half crap.
He was,
Oh yeah, that worked well.
he was born in 2 continents. He'll help travel relations or something. And for those of you who think that President Obama was born in Hawaii, if your evidence is the
The Photoshop birth certificate.
totally shopped birth certificate, give us a break, okay?
Yeah.
That thing's a fraud. He may have been born in Hawaii. That birth certificate is not any forensic evidence anybody in their right frame of mind would accept.
Yeah.
So he is not delivering as he said he would. But we're speaking.
He's hard at work. He's hard at work.
He's hard at work. We're speaking to you voters right now.
He's hard at work deconstructing the United States of America.
If you
No free speech, open borders, the tax man spying on you and coming after you and shutting
government
you
control,
up.
government regulation,
Government control, Obamacare, please.
I got to tell you.
And they are exempting themselves
Look, come
from
back to
it.
us,
I'm
'cause we're-
sorry,
okay, I
but
wanna
they
know
are
this.
exempting
make
themselves
a
from
comment on
this.
that.
This is bloody criminal,
It is.
people.
It is.
You know, I play golf, and when you're 10 feet off the green, and it takes you 4 to get in the hole, you're pretty
bad.
For 130 some odd days of
And then
golfing.
he's got 200 people around him going, yeah, good shot, Mr. President, way to go.
You're not naked, Mr. President. All
Way
your
to
clothes
do
are
a
on.
chip and 3-putt that green there, President Obama, from 10 feet away.
Well, here's the point of our rant, our early rant on Tuesday afternoon, 12 minutes after 5 o'clock. Purpose of our rant is to challenge the Democrat thinker who is a Kennedy Democrat in that mold where you truly love America. You see capitalism as a better system than socialism, and you see hard work as something to be idolized and praised, not diminished. If that's who you are, and you got caught up in this whole Obama drama, then you're going to have some decisions to make in 439 days, 435 days from today. Yeah. You're going to have a decision to make 435 days from today, 4 November 2014. And then 4 years from that day, you're going to have more decisions. What? 2 more years.
2 years,
yeah.
And these next 3 cycles, 14, 16
and
15,
14 and 16 are crucial.
14 and 16 are the big
Yeah.
He
ones.
definitely graduated from Obama school.
You've got a small window of opportunity to
right the wrongs.
take this country back and turn it around. And if you don't do it within the next 2 to 4 years, it is over. It's done.
It really is.
Okay. Why do you think Common Core is so important to this administration? Okay.
Common Core,
you
which
have to
is
make sure that the next generation of kids from 5 to 18 can't read, write,
What is
spell,
Common Core? Tell me what
add
Common Core is.
nothing.
What is
A Common Core is the curriculum, the testing standards
State
for
approved,
all
yes.
students in the United States, in not just public schools, but it's going to impact everybody in private schools and homeschooled.
Religious schools.
Religious schools, everything. You will not.
Obama doctrine, basically.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
the federalization of education, which
It
is a local issue.
It is a nightmare. It is a cultural and intellectual wasteland.
And if that's not enough, just think of this. You can do this. Now we're talking to the 45-year-old Democrat mother and father. You grew up in the Northeast. You went to the Ivy League schools. You're liberals. You're pro-abortion. You're pro-gay marriage. All that stuff. And you kind of, Obama's kind of hip, and you're moving in that direction. You have 2 kids, the perfect 2 kids. They're in private school. Here's what we want you to do. Here's the analogy that shows how destructive Obama policies are. Tomorrow, go out and buy a new Mercedes. And buy a new Mercedes. Borrow the money from the bank because you have assets at your home. Go buy a $75,000 Mercedes. Buy 2 of them. One for the wife, one for the kid. Take the payment book and deliver it as a gift to one of your 6-year-old kids and one of your 8-year-old kids and say, start paying right now for my enjoyment today. Children, start paying. What happened? Children, start paying today for my enjoyment. Mom and I want to enjoy life, and we're transferring the economic burden to you because somebody, folks, has to pay the bill, and you're transferring the bill to your children. Look at it that way and say,
And at the same time,
and your children are going to be too stupid and too lazy to be able to work to support you to pay the bill. It's never going to happen. The whole country collapses on itself.
Yep.
It's an implosion. Look at Detroit. That's this country.
I just found John Kerry. He's not golfing.
Oh, is that John Kerry?
Let me see.
He's not golfing.
Wrong
Wrong one.
Okay, that one. Okay, here we go.
There he is, Tom.
Ants?
Yeah.
Hey, better
Spray.
than the Mercedes. Here's John Kerry. What do you think that thing costs?
Oh, at the same time,
Mark
Tom?
would know.
Oh, yeah, I would know how much that would cost. And at the same time, in your analogy, go take like a $5 $100 bills, put them on top of your scanner, and then print them out on your
exactly. Yeah.
on your computer, because that's what we're doing with the Federal Reserve. We're just reprinting money left and
Yeah.
right.
And you're
Secret
talking
Service?
to
Yeah, Mark's right in here.
Yeah, and you're talking about directing your comments and our comments to the 45-year-old Democrat voter. You know, I'm directing it to the ones who sit it out, the ones who don't vote, the ones who really don't believe in this system that we're living under now, and they would want to change it back, and they did have a different life, and they do have different beliefs, and they do love this country, and they stay home instead of voting for the people who share their values.
I just ran
That's
some
the
numbers
people
last
I
night.
want to reach.
Oh,
I just-
and that's a big issue that
and I
we're
just ran
working on.
some
That's our
numbers.
cultural crusade. Mark's been doing a little cultural crusade data mining. Give
Yeah.
us a quick look at what
Well,
you've been
a
doing.
quick overview of
Good
it.
segue.
Just if you think about how many evangelical Christian, saved Christians, 79% of them voted for Romney last election, and 21% voted for Obama. And the difference in margin between that and how much Obama won by, which was 75,000 votes, I think it was.
In Florida?
In Florida.
right.
Yeah, 74,000.
All you had to have Romney win the election would be 130,000 more evangelical Christians vote. That's not doing anything different with the campaign, not doing any
Right.
different marketing strategy, not doing
Right.
anything else. Don't reach out to Hispanics, anything you want to do. It doesn't. All you had to have was 130,000 more evangelical
Out of a
Christians.
universe of how many?
700,000. Well,
That's
actually,
actually-
No,
it's
no.
It's
More than that.
900,000. 900,000. I'm sorry.
It's a
That's
little
the ones. That's
larger.
just the ones who didn't vote.
Mhm.
That's just
Yeah.
the ones who did not vote. Amazing, and that doesn't include the Christians. That doesn't include the other religion. Just the evangelical
Oh, yeah.
saved Christians,
Yeah,
Protestants, white
the
evangelical.
evangelicals, yeah.
Is,
No, it's
the-
crazy.
that's
I know, it's crazy.
You
And that's
creepy
it.
ass cracker.
But that's what we're going to work on. We have a double-edged sword. One is to cut whatever containment bans are holding back those types of Christians from participating in the electoral process. And the other is to cut through the malaise and the confusion on the intelligent Democrat voting for the socialistic Marxist policies. It's bizarre.
You know why? It's because they're voting for social issues. They're voting for
Gay everything.
gay
and
marriage
abortion. Those are the
and
two big ones.
abortion
Yep.
is more important to them than everything else. How does that
What does
happen?
that say? What does that say about the individual? They went to all this liberal
No, they're
education.
not individuals. They're part of
about
a collective.
Greek and Roman philosophy and the Judeo-Christian philosophy and ethics and world and life and science, and you distill who you are as a political person down to abortion and gay rights. What dopes you are for missing an opportunity.
And by the way,
to
gay
understand what
marriage
life
is not gay rights. It's not the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. True. All right. Well, here's what we're going to do.
Well, the answer to that is Hollywood.
Hollywood. Hey, Abdullah.
Speaking of
Yes.
Hollywood, do we have
Yes,
some
my
videos
favorite
to watch
infidels.
today?
How are you today?
Good. You've been sitting there quietly.
Yes,
What do you think about Mr. Obama? Did you vote for him?
of course. Of course I vote for him.
About Hillary?
How many times?
Oh, you're so funny, you. I vote for your Obama one time. I can tell you everyone in my Moscow vote for Obama. Most of them cannot vote because they are not citizens of your satanic country, but those of us who are, every one of them that I know voted for Obama.
95%.
But he supports the Muslim Brotherhood.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Of course.
you're with
That
the
is
Muslim-
why we vote
Oh,
for
you're
him.
with the Muslim Brother. That's right.
Ideologically, yes.
How's he going to get out of supporting the Brotherhood? He's I mean,
If he
can't.
convert to Wahhabism,
he is
just go
viewed
straight
by
to Wahhabism.
Islam worldwide as the
As the
defender
Muslim
of the
brother in
brotherhood.
chief, yeah.
How's he going to get out of that?
He can't.
he cannot.
He can't.
No,
he is married to it.
This guy's Teflon in many respects, though.
In many respects. What
Yeah.
do you? Yeah, I thought Clinton was a Teflon president. I mean, this guy.
Well, suppose if he calls the four of us in, Abdullah, Mark, Tom, CJ, he goes, guys, you guys, I watch your show. You know, people don't know, but I watch your show every day.
Yeah.
And I need some help. I screwed up with this brotherhood thing. I still believe in him and all that, but for political purposes, to fool
I need
the
an out.
Democrats, I need an out. How would we advise him?
How do you get out?
How do you get out? He's
Yeah.
trapped.
How do you
into
get
it.
out from under?
No, but he's turning to us. We're very smart people.
He's turning to us. First of all, you
What he
fire
does
him.
is he separate the brotherhood from the failed individuals, like the Morsi. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so what he does, he goes after the individuals, not the ideology or the organization.
Kind of like they're
Yeah.
doing now in Egypt.
Actually,
Okay,
I do
that's
have
a good
the
point.
idea is, all right, all those people that you've called friends that are hanging around you,
Mm-hmm.
get the CIA to put some microphones on them and just listen to what they say for like an hour, okay, and then just make it public, and then you have a complete out. Oh well, we can't support that. Look at that, you know.
But
That-
then
that-
that make
that was
him
a-
look stupid. If he did not know that about the people prior, then it makes him look like
Well,
a
I
community
think-
organizer, not the president.
I think
Yeah,
Imam's,
That was a good point,
Imam's strategy. I think that's what McCain and Graham are all about, actually,
Providing that cover.
providing
I
that
can
cover.
tell you, as far as Republicans go, I love your John
Yeah.
McCain so much.
Because that's what they do, is they say, you know, this individual perverted democracy, not that the whole Muslim Brotherhood is discredited, only the individuals who ruined their democratic chance.
Bad apple.
The Brotherhood truly wanted democracy.
Yeah.
And they want
And
the
it was
personal
just
Sharia and
political.
all of that,
Yeah,
which
just
is not
political
bad.
stuff. Nothing about world domination and restoring the
And then-
caliphate or anything
Then we had
like
a couple
that.
of rogue mavericks
Yeah.
that went off the reservation.
Yeah, they
So
misunderstood their own religion.
I am disassociating myself with those individuals
Mm-hmm.
and then simply saying the damage they have done to the Brotherhood's doctrines
Mm-hmm.
is so severe, it's going to take years and years and years. So we're going to have to just
Help
look
them.
at this as a failed.
Yeah, we're
failed
going to
film.
have
They-
to
they
help them
wrecked it.
rebuild their
We're gonna have
party.
to help them. It'll be actually
We're trying to
a
get him out of
reason-
there. We're trying to
It'll
get
be a reason to put more time, effort, and resources into the Brotherhood to make up for the fact
We're
that
trying to get the president out of there. That's our advice.
Okay,
This
well
will
then,
not happen.
then job number one is pull the ambassador. How about that?
What's her name? Sarah
Patterson?
Patterson.
she's
yeah.
pulled.
Yeah, I think she is out of there.
Good grief.
All right. Hi, everybody. 24 minutes after 5 o'clock. Yesterday, we showed you one of our films from Los Angeles area, Santa Monica, in particular, 3rd Street Promenade. We're going to get to that one again.
Those
We may
guys
show
are-
these all week.
those
Who knows
guys are
what we may
scary.
do.
I'm getting
What?
her on now, okay?
Those guys are scary. I'm telling
Yeah, they
you.
are scary.
You got to have a lot of guts.
In the next
to
couple
show
of
up.
days, we're going to talk about a couple of things here. Thule Woltz, yesterday's paper, our good friend Thule, he and his wife Cheryl, about the bombing of Thule and his son Daniel. We did a video about that. Great story about them fighting
Everybody.
Chinese government, Iran, America, Israel,
Yeah.
everybody. We'll tell you about that story during the course of the week. We told you about this little Islamic study. This will lead into our video today of
You going to read from
the
there?
LA. Yeah. I don't think you guys have this. This is a book we picked up. It's called Islamic Studies, Selections from the Sirah, from the Life of Muhammad. From the Life of Muhammad.
If you
All
hold
right.
it up and I'll give zoom in shot on it.
Okay, get a zoomy shot. Zoomy doomy.
There you go.
Ooh, look at
Yeah,
that.
nice and pretty.
Now,
That's
that's
very
important. Stay right
crisp.
there because this is more critically important, the name down the bottom.
Aha.
Tie that and go on this
Oh, the Islamic Society of Tampa Bay area.
Okay, Islamic Society of Tampa Bay area. What did we do last week? What were we talking
I
about?
think
Those
our
guys?
Jewish producer called them, our little Jewish producer.
he did not.
Abdullah called them.
Correct.
Yeah, but then
Oh.
you asked,
No.
No?
No.
No, it wasn't
All
him.
right, so Abdullah called them, the Tampa,
Oh, that's
the
right.
Islamic
But
Society
then you
of
got on the
Tampa Bay.
phone. You got on the phone. Yes, you did.
Please, let Tom talk. You don't know what you're talking about, so let Tom talk.
I forgot what happened.
Forget about it. I'm going home.
We called.
I'm not even here.
We called about. I listened on the radio on the replay when they replay it
Yeah.
at 5 o'clock. When they replay it at 5 o'clock.
You listen to the next day. On the next day.
Today is Tuesday.
Listen to the next day and you replay on your computer. Go ahead, Tom.
We questioned the Islamic Society of Tampa Bay on their request that they give to students all over the country, all over the state, Muslim students, to have Fridays off. We did this, remember, on Jummah Prayer Friday.
Right.
Have Fridays off, and we said there's something's not
Something ain't kosher
Some-
there.
the
Something
smell
comes down.
test ain't being passed. All right, Tampa Bay. This is a book we got from their bookstore. The Islamic Society of Tampa Bay, they have a bookstore. We went into their bookstore. We picked this up. We bought it. Their book. Listen to their view of the objective of dawah. What's dawah?
Dawah.
It's
Proselytizing.
Basically.
Yeah,
Yes, it's basically proselytizing.
It's what Samara, who we had on yesterday, said that the Muslims who are coming into 3rd Street Promenade, which we're going to show in a minute, seem to be doing. I'm just going to go through this very quickly. Through careful and extensive examination of the dawah, the proselytizing of Islam, before and after the hijrah, the move out of from Mecca to Medina, the evidence overwhelmingly points at the fact that the Prophet was working to establish Islam as A, religious, or B, political entity.
Both.
Or C, all of the above.
As a political
Political.
entity that would possess the authority to govern and administer the relationships and affairs of a society according to Islam. The implications of such an understanding has far-reaching consequences. I'm reading from the Islamic Society of Tampa Bay's book. Has far-reaching consequences on directing the agenda of the Ummah, the family of Muslims worldwide, and specifically the movements that seek to correctly initiate revival using the Islamic method. Okay? So the author points to Muhammad and the fact that he was establishing a political authority that would set the context for proselytizing.
That's correct.
For Allah. Now, buckle up, folks. Listen to this.
Giddy up.
Allah revealed Islam to Muhammad not simply as a collection of rituals or general ambiguous collection of principles that would patch a few wounds of the society. Not just for that, but, this is critically important, but as an dynamic idea that called for the destruction of all existing systems, political systems, and ideas, and the subsequent restructuring of the entire society based upon the Aqidah, La ilaha illa Allah.
Yep.
When one accepts Islam, that person, by acknowledging Allah as the only creator and legislator, abandons all other ideas, political ideas, affiliations, and replaces them with those dictated by Allah. The materialization of this realization manifests in the individual acceptance of the Islamic Aqidah as the source of culture he adopts, the source of culture, the driving force of his intellect and sentiments, and the standard that dictates all aspects of his life. Listen to this. In a similar manner, Islam came to shape the society, demanding that the society abandon its systems and codes and restructure itself upon the Islamic truth and the systems emanating from it.
Hey, Tom, if you pull that book Milestones,
Wait, let that sink in for a minute.
Well, that's
We need a dramatic pause after that for a second.
I love it.
What did he just say, Abdullah?
He just said that we are here to not be equal to you, not to assimilate to you, but to be supreme over you, and that Allah will reign supreme.
and will be the only God, not your silly Abrahamic ones that precede Allah.
This is not, some whack job out in the Middle East, in Gaza, writing, screaming, yelling. This is one of the most significant Islamic societies of Tampa Bay, teaching that Islam did not come to patch a few wounds in society, but to obliterate and change it completely, being handed stuff.
We must free ourselves from the clutches of Western society.
We must free ourselves. This is Milestones. Same thing. This gave birth to this. Yeah. We must free ourselves from the clothes of Jahiliyyah society.
Jahiliyyah Western.
Concepts, Western traditions, and Western leaderships. Our mission is not to compromise with the practices of Western society, nor can we be loyal to it. Western society, because of its characteristics, is not worthy to be compromised with. Our aim is first to change ourselves to the Sharia so that we can later change the society.
Yeah.
Inshallah.
Bring that to your next interfaith meeting in your local area, and that's what Samira does.
Now, just to give context to our listeners here, the last book Tom just read through was called Milestones. The founder is Sayyid Qutb of the Muslim Brotherhood. He's the ideological founder of the Muslim Brotherhood. The other book, written by the Islamic Society of Tampa Bay, is almost identical to that book.
Yep.
Now, was that written and published? Is that what it says on the back of that? Or what does that say? Did they actually publish a book? They just didn't have it there. They actually published the book, did they not? Right on the back cover there, Tom.
Yeah, I'm seeing if they have a... no, this is self-published by them.
Yeah, self-published.
Yep. So they published, not that they just picked it up, threw it in their
bookstore.
Give
you the Arabic, too, so there's no mistakes.
Yeah.
So they didn't just pick it up and throw it in their bookstore. They actually went out and self-published this book, which is almost identical to Sayyid Qutb's Milestones.
Right.
Give me a break. It's a total Muslim Brotherhood mosque.
I thought you liked that book. You always talk about it.
And what our point, folks, with this show at 33 minutes after 5 o'clock on the 27th Tuesday, August, our show, one of the reasons for our show is to draw a very clear and distinct line between this cultural clash from their point of view. This is doctrine. If a particular human being called a Muslim chooses not to follow it, God bless him and will support him and stand with him. But he is a Mino. It's a Mino.
Well, Muslim in name only.
But if they follow this stuff...
But this is, you ask a question in the email that you sent out. Is there a such thing as a moderate? These are the moderates in these videos that we're showing.
Well, our guest...
These are the moderates.
Our guest and her family would ask that same question.
Well, let's go to the video. Let's show this thing before we get her. Let's show the whole thing. Let's play through. It's 3 minutes. And where there isn't direct
the ones
dialogue.
that has the questions.
Well, here's the one.
The what?
The one
good.
with the questions.
You'll
what
like
happens
this.
if your daughter does this?
Yeah,
what
yeah.
happens if somebody steals?
Or
Is
later.
that gonna be
I'll play a little clip of
You got that one?
Yeah. I'm ready to go. Okay.
And after Muhammad passed away, his daughter Aisha, she made a war against the people who left Islam. And one day she killed 10,000 who was Muslim and left Islam. And one day Aisha...
So that's in the Quran. Was that okay then?
No, it was not.
You know why?
Hold it for 1 second. For the people in the car. And you're hearing this. This is an outside, if you didn't hear the show yesterday, this is an outside mall, 3rd Street Promenade, Santa Monica, California, Saturday night around 9 o'clock, this past Saturday.
It's like going to Los Olas or something.
Going to Los Olas, Delray, Fort Lauderdale, the avenues there. But they actually shut the street down so there's no car traffic.
Right.
And people set up tables to... Every freakazoid...
That's so no Muslim cabbies run people over.
Every freakazoid in the world is there, selling tinfoil hats and everything else. Well, one of our associate organizations, Counter Jihad Coalition, puts a leafleting table up and hands out literature about Islamic Jihad. They simply say...
what they do is they just basically copy things that are in this book and put them in a little trifold leaflet.
Let's explain this, please.
And they simply say, fine, somebody wants to be a Muslim, that's fine, but there's a component of Islam, Sharia compliant Islam, that is lethal to the United States, and we need to become aware of it. So that's the expose part. So they're there Saturday night, leafleting.
Now, they're not going into Muslim town. They're not going into the Muslim-controlled areas. They're not going into Dearborn.
No.
They're going into the open-air market in Santa Monica.
This is where the
Right.
girls are wearing, like, nothing.
Right.
This is very sexually free and open,
So this is
Southern California.
open- yeah.
This is not where you expect to find Muslims
Okay.
on a Saturday night,
Right.
right?
Except
Okay.
for now they're traveling there from
Traveling in packs. Now
100
they're
miles away to swarm around and to find out what's
Right.
going on.
And a lot of
there.
these people you'll see were visiting actually from overseas.
Yeah.
And you'll see, and some of the Muslim gentlemen that are speaking are a little hard to understand, but and then the younger ones, the second generation, come in. There's a little confrontation or discussion between some of the people from Counter Jihad Coalition and those who have surrounded them, a bunch of Muslims. This is an older gentleman, sort of the wise gentleman in the crowd.
Okay.
And after Muhammad passed away, his daughter Aisha, she made a war against the people who left Islam. And one day she killed 10,000 who was
10,000
Muslim
apostates.
and left Islam. And one day Aisha.
So that's in the Quran. Was that okay then?
No, it's not.
You know why?
It was not.
It's not in
You
the
know why?
Quran?
He made it up.
I will take it. Okay, we're gonna look it up. We'll look it up, and we'll make sure we're referencing. We'll look it up.
I will tell you the
Listen
story.
to me. Hey guys, I got a very important point. Let me tell you something. Hold on. You guys look like you're good guys. Okay, now let me finish. Okay, but around the world, America has the problem with the radical Islamist. If you feel the way that you do, that it doesn't happen, and that it doesn't happen in America, stand with us right now and pass out these tracts. Come on, I'll help you.
Hang on. This is great. For those of you driving in your car, you can't see this. There's two people, one cameraman and one leafleter, standing there. It must be 10, 15 Muslims around them, and they're discussing, various things that you just get into conversations about. But this group of now younger Muslim kids, 15, 18, 20, 25, oh no, you've got everything wrong. Those are just a rare group of people. We're not like them. We're the moderates. We're good.
Yeah, we're good people.
This guy does a brilliant move.
He does a brilliant move on him.
The leafleter.
Yeah.
And listen carefully, because if it were a poker game, he's calling
Their bluff.
calling their bluff, and then up in the ante.
And
Listen
then
to
up
what
in
he
the ante,
says.
that's really good.
Wait.
Answer my question. Can you help me pass out the literature on this table? Hold on. Will you help me pass out the literature to tell people?
I will tell.
No, I will not tell you.
I will tell
You help me?
something. No.
Why?
You help me pass out the
I will
literature.
tell
You help me?
something. No.
That you just said you agree with the literature, that there's bad Muslims out there. Will you help me pass that literature out? No.
I don't want.
Do you live in America?
Okay, I don't want. There is no.
Do you live in America?
Yeah, I live in America.
You're American, or are you
No,
a tourist?
no, I'm tourist.
What about this? What if somebody steals something? Is it right to have their hands cut off?
All right. If
somebody steals something,
do people have a right to cut their hands off? Now listen to the guy's answer.
Yes.
It's right.
Yes.
Why is it right?
You know why? If
You
come to
are
my
a Muslim
country-
youth from what
Yes,
country?
Qatar.
Qatar. Okay.
Yes.
The majority of the Islamic countries around
You know
the
why?
world,
If you come to my country,
they do.
Okay. If you come to my
not the
country,
majority.
nobody steal. Nobody comes to.
That's because they'll get their hands cut off.
Yes, that's.
We gotta play that one again. We gotta play that last little part
yes,
again.
it's obvious. Look
Islamic
at,
countries around
You know
the
why?
world,
If you
puts
come
his
to my
hands out.
country,
they do.
Okay. If you come to
No,
my
not the
country,
majority.
nobody steal. Nobody comes to.
That's because they'll get their hands cut off.
Yes, that's why.
Okay, but the thing is though,
Research in my
what
country.
about a woman
Yes.
who commits adultery with a man?
That means what's adultery?
And she's guilty of committing adultery. She did. She says to court, I'm just going to admit that I committed adultery.
Yes.
Is it okay to kill her in Islamic law?
Yes. If she have a child, no.
Yes.
No. If she have a child.
Everybody says it's yes. Would you like? Wait.
The question is,
Yeah, the two questions. The one was, and this kid's about 22. He's from Qatar, very long hair. And Qatar is that country that
oh, that's where the moderates are.
Al Jazeera.
And Al Jazeera is
all the
Qatari.
moderates. All the moderates are from Qatar.
Yeah.
And he's astonished when the questioner says, if somebody's caught stealing, is it okay to cut their hand off? He goes, yes.
Of course.
Of course.
And then he argues even further. He says,
prove my point.
We have no stealing. Nobody steals a guitar. Yeah,
Not only is it true, but it's great.
Yeah, but maybe he's got a point. Maybe if we started doing that sort of cruel and unusual punishment, there'd be less crazy.
That's more like it, Trento. Now you're using your Kufari noggin.
Then we've been through that period when it was determined that the stockades and all these things were cruel and unusual because the system of Western law is not vengeance, it's justice. Islamic law is vengeance.
Yes, it's cruel and usual punishment,
Yes.
not cruel and unusual.
And the second
Cruel and
question
usual.
was, if a woman, CJ here, is caught in adultery and admits it, go ahead and admit it on camera. Is it okay to kill her?
It's a trick, it's a trick.
And he says, if she has a little child, and
I'm going rock shopping.
Otherwise,
You're going what?
Rock shopping.
Rock shopping.
That's how you die. He said, yes, it's okay to kill her.
Now
this is somebody in California.
Now, what happens after this? And this is brilliant maneuver on the cameraman. He focuses on the guy. He goes, well, what do you girls think about this? And he shifts the camera over to these Muslim girls. Listen to this whole conversation.
Right, let's hear that now.
Now, this is actually really classic here. Hold on.
We'll bring her on right after this.
Yes. If she have a child, no.
Yes.
No. If she have a child.
Everybody says it's yes. Would you like? Wait. If you made a mistake, how many of you made a mistake? Let's say males can be killed too, right?
She's a female.
You know what's right and wrong. This is wrong. You should be killed for it.
You should be killed for it. Now, this is
wrong. The adultery is wrong. This is a very attractive. How old, CJ? 25, 23?
Yeah, 28, early 20s.
I can't
Very
tell,
attractive Muslim
She's not
girl.
covered up, though.
She's not covered up. And this is what's surprising. She's not in
really
a
surprising.
hijab.
They should all go walk through Tahrir Square.
And she's saying that, yes, adultery is wrong. She should be killed.
Yeah.
No question about it.
Very smart
Now,
young
Let's
daughter.
bring Samara. Is she there?
Hold on. I want to finish this up because this is really important here. Because this girl comes out and asks, should your father kill you? And she says...
Let's hear that.
Yeah. Now watch this. She says...
That's why we don't do it. That's why we don't do it.
Those are the consequences.
Okay,
No,
but you
those
can
are the
understand.
consequences. Those are the consequences.
Those are what?
Yeah, that's in part.
Let's say males can be killed too, right?
But anyway,
Right.
she comes back and she says, absolutely. If I was committed adultery, I want my father to kill me.
She said she would want her father to kill her.
You have that? We can pull that up for later. Let's get Samara in. Welcome back, Samara. Hello.
Hi. Good to be here.
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for coming yesterday and today. We appreciate that. It's 44 minutes after 5 o'clock on the East Coast, 27 Tuesday. Say hello, CJ.
Hello.
CJ.
Hi.
I'm scared to talk now. You wouldn't believe what they just put me through.
Yeah.
They want me to say
She
I'm an
sounds like she's
adulterer.
playing the Muslim victimhood card over there.
Yeah.
We had her stoned. We were listening to some of the footage that you guys shot last Saturday at the 3rd Street Promenade in Santa Monica, and the three things were very interesting. The questioner said to the Muslim people around him, said, "Okay, all of you guys agree that that there's two types of Islam. The jihadis, you're opposed to that. Will you come over and stand with us and hand out the anti-jihadi literature?" Were you present when that took place?
Yes, I was, and I remember that very well. I also remember when they were talking about the fact of a woman committing adultery and that she should be stoned. And I think, I didn't hear it in the video, but I said, she also has to have 4 witnesses and they all have to be male.
Right.
Yeah, what did you, now you were there, you were last Saturday night, you were at 3rd Street Promenade.
Yes.
Did that lead you into other conversations? Share some of the conversations you had with some of these folks.
Well, I spoke quite a while with those young guys that were there. By the way, they were all 18. They were young.
18. Okay.
18, all from Qatar, all UC Irvine students.
Oh.
One of the questions that I asked them was, do you belong to the Muslim Student Association? They all said no. So then I said to them, well, make sure you don't join it. And they said, why? So I said, because if you join it, it's a direct arm of the Muslim Brotherhood. And I said, you will be indoctrinated into possibly being a jihadist.
Doesn't seem like they have too far to go to be indoctrinated.
What did they do? What did they do when you said that?
They just poo-pooed me, but you know, and I don't know if they were lying about the fact that they did not do the Muslim.
You're breaking up a little bit.
Imagine that they don't, but that's a possibility. You never know.
Wait, repeat that. You broke up a little bit.
Oh, sorry. I said I can't, with confidence, say that they were telling me the truth, that they don't belong to the Muslim Student Association. But I proceeded to tell them not to join it, because if they did, the Muslim Student Association is a direct arm of the Muslim Brotherhood, and there's a strong chance that they may be indoctrinated to become jihadists.
We're talking with Samara from California, who was there the other night, Saturday night, and she just brought up the fact that this group of 18-year-old students from Qatar, whatever.
Well, they said themselves Qatar.
Qatar, yeah.
Yeah.
They go to UC Irvine, University of California, Irvine. We have spent many hours on that campus.
Yeah.
Screwing around with the MSU, Muslim Student Union, Muslim Student Association, and those 18-year-old kids with those views are not far from being completely absorbed by the MSA, MSU.
And here's the thing too, Tom, is when you look at these people, these aren't, you know, like your radical, off the wall, jihadied up looking type Muslims in long gowns and shirts with hijabs on, are covered in, you know, these are young people, you know, nicely dressed. It looked like just any other person walking down the street. I mean,
you see them at Starbucks.
Like you see them at Starbucks. Exactly. I mean, the woman who said, yes, if I commit adultery, I should be stoned, and I wish my father would do it.
Yeah.
Give me a break. And the guy who's, you know, he seems like a very nice guy. He seems like a pleasant guy. And he comes out and says, no, I think for stealing, you should have your hands cut off. What barbaric culture or society do these people live in to have these twisted, perverted, warped views?
Well, let's ask our expert. Samara, what does that grow out of, the 18 years old to have these kind of...
They're just following what's in the Quran. And I think the important thing to remember is the Quran is abrogated, which means... and it even says so in the Quran, that there are many visions that come after, and it is tantamount for them to follow the later visions. So that's what abrogation is. It's the latter one. So you part of the Quran, you have what we call the Meccan version, which is very nice. A lot of it is taken from the Torah and from the Bible, and it incorporates and shows a very loving God. And then it gradually starts getting worse and worse, because the more angel Gabriel visits Muhammad, the worse the commands are from God in reference to the people that he's dealing with. And so that's why there was the big slaughter of the Jewish men in Medina, and the women were taken as captives, and as well as the children as slaves. I might add, the women were taken as sex slaves,
right?
And the women were taken as slaves.
So when Muslims are doing these interfaith outreach, interfaith outreach, their dawah, what they'll do is they will quote from the earlier verses in the Quran, which make it seem like Islam is so peaceful and benign, and they will deny what comes later in the Quran, or what's in the surah or the hadiths as being irrelevant. And therefore, any Muslim who doesn't preach what's in the front of the book is misunderstanding his religion. And if that's what I'm putting across to you, then I'm the moderate Muslim, and you should go along with what I'm saying, and that's what
it's about as ridiculous as saying, all right, abrogation, simply explained, is the speed limit on the highway used to be 55, and now it's 70, And the
Right.
Muslims all telling you, no, the speed limit on the highway is still 55. I go, well, no, it's 70. Because
Right.
I look now because that law has been abrogated. It's no longer.
So you're saying the moderates are the ones that haven't finished reading it?
No, you have to remember why they get
We're stuck in the beginning.
And when you ask the Muslims,
We're stuck in the beginning.
and you ask the Muslims what the speed limit is, they'll all say it's 55. And no, you guys are crazy for thinking it's 70 miles an hour.
That's
What do you
good.
mean?
That's a good
No,
illustration.
it never says that. There's no law said that. What do you? You're haters. That's where it goes to.
That's right. That's
There's
right.
something very important you have to remember, though, that approximately 85% of the Muslims do not read or write Arabic. They are non-native speaking,
Right.
other cultures.
And you read, write, and speak Arabic, right? Is
That's
that
a
correct?
lot of people. When you think about it, that means that maybe 15% can read and write in Arabic and understand it fully.
Right.
Arabic is a very difficult language, and the Quran is written in a very high classical language. I can't even understand it. I can't even understand when the imam is preaching and quoting from the Quran, because it is very, very high. I can pick out words when I'm reading it when the English is next to the Arabic and I want to make sure that they've translated a word correctly. I can go over, for example, in chapter 4, verse 34, where it says to hit the woman. I looked at the word for hit. It can't be translated any other way. It can either be translated beat or hit. And I had an imam tell me, no, it also means to go on strike. Well, it does in the context of the Quran.
Right.
That's strike,
right.
not on strike.
Well, that's a very good point. I
Walk
mean,
around.
one thing that I know that Tom has always asked of Muslims who use that as an argument for misinterpreting the Quran. Oh, well, no, if you don't speak and write and read the classic Arabic in which the Quran is written, you can't possibly understand it. So the question becomes, does that mean this is not translatable? And why would a Bible that is not translatable be accessible for hundreds of millions or billions of people to follow? If it's so out there, if it's so esoteric that the average person can't follow it, then why should anybody follow it?
Well, they do have a solution, and they actually did solve that problem right here in the Umdat al-Salik. They said, there is no doubt that this translation is a valuable and important work, whether as a textbook for teaching Islamic jurisprudence to English speakers or as a legal reference for use by scholars, educated laymen, and students in the language. And this is by the International Institute of Islamic Thought, the Fiqh Council of North America, Jeddah, also approved by Al-Azhar University. So they actually do have certified, documented, and stamped translations of to tell you exactly what Islam is, what their law is, and how they're doing it. Right here, these types of books.
So if you're non-Arabic reading or speaking, and they argue, then you really can never fully understand the Quran. The producers and developers of Reliance of the Traveler have given you the handbook, essentially.
That's right. And they said, you don't have to speak.
And well, how do you trust them? Well, all the jazz in the front of the book.
Says all the certifications.
I think the angel Gabriel even stamped that one.
It's got wing prints on it. He did a snow wing in the back.
And this is what they want you to read if you're an American in North America. Is that Reliance?
Well, the other thing that you were talking about too, they'll we'll be in a debate or a discussion with Muslims, and they'll say, "You don't know that. You don't know anything. You don't speak and understand classic Arabic."
I don't have to,
right? And well, you let it sink in for a second, then you go, "Excuse me, do you?"
Yeah.
You got an 85% chance that they say no.
No.
Right.
Here's the thing also. They don't call it a translation because you can't translate the Word of God.
Interpret
it's called an interpretation.
Yeah.
And so their argument is, well, that interpretation was wrong. They interpreted it incorrectly rather.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, I go back and I say the word in Arabic for hit. I said, how can you misinterpret the word for hit? It's the only word that means either hit or beat. And I got into a discussion with this Syrian family, mostly with the women that were there Saturday night. And she said, oh, she said, it doesn't mean to beat. You're not supposed to beat so that you bring blood. And she sort of taps me on the arm and she said, it's just like a tap. That's all.
It's a love
regardless of whether it's a tap or a hit. I said, you're still being mishandled by your husband. Is that correct? Do you like that?
Do not hit in the face and do not leave marks.
And you must hold her. And you must.
No, you have to go through the 4 stages first of
mental abuse.
trying to be instructed and controlled before they're allowed to.
There's a definite control factor, and then the mental abuse factor. And before you start beating her, you better try all the other methods of scolding her, yelling at her, telling her that she's wrong.
Yeah.
Because she's your property. I mean, she's not your.
All four of them.
All four of them are your property.
Hey, Samara, we're fighting the clock a little bit once again.
Okay.
But our purpose right now for our audience, Tom Trento, CJ, Damon, Abdullah, and Mark are over there. Our purpose is to have our listeners and viewers understand that there is a unique and distinct, very real, very tangible divide in these two cultures, in Islam and in America, we'll call it, okay, Americanism. Take a minute or so, how can Muslims come over into America like my grandparents did, leaving Italy and coming here? What do Muslims have to do to truly become Americans first and then Muslims second?
They just have to be educated and re-indoctrinated. And it's a very difficult thing to do, because if they're involved with any mosque at all, and if their parents are pious and pray 5 times a day and do all the things they're supposed to do, it's always going to be Islam first, and wherever else they are is second. I know many, many Muslims. They are wonderful, wonderful. The United States and America is number one, the Constitution is number one, and anything else is secondary. Those are the people that I know. But unfortunately, or fortunately actually, there are more of them, but they're not willing to come out and speak out. That's the problem.
Yeah, and summing this up, those who choose not to assimilate and become subversive to fight against America will eventually either have to get arrested because of being subversives, or if they go kinetic, then it's going to be a war and there will be deaths, just like everywhere else.
Or they get elected to high office.
What I don't understand about this is these Muslims you're talking about, these moderates who don't want jihad, but yet they are culturally, religiously
that's the
Islamic.
issue.
How can you be religiously Islamic minus the jihad? What does that mean when you're praying 3 to 5 times every day?
Sadly,
you're praying for an end to Judaism and Christianity as part of your prayers.
Sadly, we can't answer that.
How do you separate that?
We'll leave that as a cliffhanger to answer that tomorrow.
That is a cliffhanger.
But Samara, thank you very, very much. Keep up your good work there.
We're going to show more videos.
Yes.
May I recommend we never have this woman back?
We'll show them.
Also, our producer is madly in love with you.
4,
3, 2. Bye, everybody.
Bye, thank you.
See ya. Okay.